Stranger Things is no stranger to violence, but it reached a new level after revealing Vecna as its main villain, tying him to every character who's been killed over its 4 seasons. Let me know in the comment section how many, as an approximate number, you think Vecna has killed in Hawkins. But before I pick up Eddie's axe and start shredding with my minimal skill level and scare the bats off with burst eardrums,
No, God!
I'd like to say hello guys and gals, I'm Nick, and welcome to 30's Feedback. So, as it turns out, Vecna was behind everything from the Mind Flayer to presumably Will Byers' abduction in Stranger Things Season 1. Once Vecna was released in Season 4 of the hit Netflix series, Stranger Things' scariest adversary wreaked havoc. Every season of Stranger Things has gotten more violent. Season 1 of the series featured minimal deaths, especially gruesome ones, but as the series grew, so did the violence. Season 3 took a real turn when using body horror as a plot point with the Flayed and the Mind Flayer. This trend continued when Stranger Things Season 4 started off with a massacre. Vecna was responsible for this, along with many other deaths throughout the series. Take a look at this list. The Rainbow Room staff. Season 4 of Stranger Things began very violently. One group of people that ultimately paid the price was the hospital staff of the Rainbow Room. Eleven trained her powerful abilities in that facility as she lived there since her birth. During its grand Season 4 reveal, Stranger Things explained that Vecna was responsible for the death of several hospital staff at Hawkins' laboratory. This includes Dr. Ellis, who was one of the medical professionals in the Rainbow Room facility. The Rainbow Room siblings. Along with the hospital staff, the massacre that took place in 1979 also claimed the lives of 15 children. They were 11's numbered siblings from the Rainbow Room, all taken, raised and trained by Dr. Martin Brenner. Vecna, or at this point in the show, Number 1, telekinetically attacked the other siblings and killed them all. This was a jarring way to begin the penultimate season of Stranger Things, but it set the tone for what happened after. The hospital visitors. In Stranger Things Season 3, Episode 5, titled Chapter 5, The Flayed, the kids of Hawkins got involved in a fight against the Flayed in their town's hospital. This was one of the first times the Flayed were revealed as a true threat. During this fight at the hospital, Stranger Things showed the bodies of staff and hospital visitors lying around, demonstrating the carnage these monsters wrought. Carnage that, ultimately, stemmed from Vecna. The Flayed. The Flayed were townspeople taken over by the Mind Flayer and were infected to serve the monster's needs. Their service, however, did not stop at doing his bidding. When the monster was leveling up to be Stranger Things Season 3's big bad, it did so by killing every person under its control. The creature stabbed its victims and absorbed them. This included newspaper staffers like Bruce Lowe and Tom Holloway, along with Doris Driscoll, who was one of the first people to notice something amiss in Hawkins. Billy was the only one of the Flayed that was not absorbed at this time. Jason Carver. Jason Carver's death in Stranger Things was one of the quickest but most gruesome of Season 4. He was not beloved, as he treated every one of Stranger Things' main characters like they were worthless. In the Stranger Things Season 4 finale, Jason was in a fist fight with Lucas. As he was recovering, Jason was lying on the ground when the Upside Down started to crack open Hawkins. Jason was then melted in half by the fissure between worlds. While his death scene only lasted the length of one camera pan and didn't gain much sympathy, it was extremely graphic and illustrated the impending crisis in Hawkins. Chrissy Cunningham. Chrissy's death was one of the most important in Stranger Things Season 4. Her character was the only reason the show's heroes learned about Vecna's curse. Her death also brought new and old characters together. Stranger Things followed Chrissy as she had horrible visions which led her to Eddie Munson. She wanted to stave off her hallucinations with drugs. After a short-lived friendship, she died gruesomely with her bones snapping while she was floating in his trailer. As the first Stranger Things 4 death, it had less emotional impact because of how little the characters knew her, but it did set up the season's plot well. Alice and Virginia Creel. Before it was revealed that Henry Creel, Number 1 and Vecna were all the same person, Stranger Things explained the history of one complex character in 3 parts. Originally, it wasn't disclosed that Henry killed his own family, but once Vecna explained his origin to Nancy, he claimed responsibility for killing both his mother and his sister. His mother wanted to get him psychological help after witnessing some of his more concerning behaviour, and his sister became a witness to her murder. In order to cover his tracks, both characters had to die so that Vecna could frame his father, Victor Creel. Fred Benson. Another victim of Vecna's curse, Fred Benson, died in Stranger Things Season 4 Episode 2, Chapter 2, Vecna's Curse. Fred was introduced as Nancy's friend from the school newspaper. Together, they were trying to investigate what happened to Chrissy. While Nancy was talking to a witness family member, Fred went missing. He heard a clock chime, the first indicator someone is cursed, and followed his hallucinations into the woods, where he died by the roadside, the same way that Chrissy did. His death reunited Nancy with the other kids and gave her a reason to help solve this mystery. Bob Newby. Before Joyce Byers fell in love with Hopper, she had another boyfriend during Stranger Things Season 2. Bob Newby proved his love for her as he stayed by Joyce's side through everything from Will's sickness to his possession, taking the dark secrets of Hawkins in his stride. While Joyce and Bob were trying to escape Hawkins' lab after discovering Will was being controlled by the Mind Flayer, Bob was killed by a creature called a Demo Dog. It's revealed that Demo Dogs are controlled by Vecna in Season 4, so the show provided a deeper look into Bob's death 2 seasons after he died. Billy Hargrove. Billy Hargrove's death in Stranger Things Season 3 was controversial because, while he wasn't a good person, what he endured was pretty terrible. His death also affected his stepsister Max. In Season 3, Billy was the host for the Mind Flayer, taking over from Will's possession in the previous season. While being controlled, Billy turned other townspeople into servants of the Mind Flayer. In Stranger Things Season 3, Episode 8, Chapter 8, The Battle of Starcourt, Billy was impaled with several intestinal tendrils from the Mind Flayer while trying to protect Eleven. This was the ultimate character development for him, despite leading to his end. Eddie Munson. Eddie was a beloved Stranger Things character despite only appearing in Season 4. He was the leader of the Hellfire Club, the Dungeons & Dragons club at Hawkins High School. He also witnessed Chrissy's death, which introduced him to the Upside Down. As the season went on, he and Dustin became close friends. While they were in the Upside Down, Eddie died to buy as much time as he could for the rest of the group facing Vecna. There are theories that hint at Eddie's return in Stranger Things Season 5, but nothing is confirmed yet.